Hello, everybody. Welcome on into the Dungeon Lounge. It is me, Elizabeth, and this. Always this. I'm joking. Hope everyone's doing good. Hello, Amanda. Hello, Van. Happy Tuesday. Are you having a good day? I had a yummy curry for dinner, and I got to watch the first episode of the new season of The House of Dragons. So, it's going okay. And yes, I 100%, whenever I listen to Weapon of Choice, my brain goes to that music video. They are inseparable in my mind. And that's fine. Because honestly, you know what? I like seeing Christopher Walken dance. I like that. Anyway, as a reminder, this is what it'll look like when it's done. We are in the cloud section. So I'm going to pick up kind of around here. So I'm also thinking of jumping over here and then kind of like moving to meet, you know what I mean? But we'll see. We'll see. And yes, I see Mana has pointed out that there's some new weekly rewards that Twitch is doing, apparently. And also congratulations on being a mod for 6 months. Hooray. All right, let's get this started. Where am I? Ah. Okay. Mouse again. Why do I never learn that the mouse will piss me off? How's everybody's Tuesdays? Mine is annoying. Well, not annoying. I had a good evening, but the workday was annoying. I had to go into the office and it's FIFA right now. So going home is annoying because people want, like, it's mostly like the train itself is fine, but like the station is extra crowded because you got people who want to go to the game. And, that's their privilege and all that doobly doos. Oh, shit. No, it's fine. It's fine. I can fix this. I can fix this. Aha. But it is one of those cases where you got a bunch of people who don't know where they're going, and it's like, just let me get my train. Just let me get my train. There's nothing worse than you're in a rush and you're like trying to get your shit done, and then you got someone who's just like, "What direction is this? I have never been." And it's like, I know, like, gotta be nice or whatever, but it's just like, I just want to go home. I want to go home. Oh, no, too much. No, no. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay. Anyways, my bitching aside. Also, if my nails look a little yellow today, that's the curry's fault. Because I was trying to clean it up a little bit before stream. It's Muse. So guess what? This Friday, a new album comes out from Muse, and I'm excited. Muse is one of my favorited bands. I will admit, there's a little part of me that was hoping I'd find out about that job promotion thingy. Because when I've gotten job promotions in the past, I've always been very like, you know what, I need to do something to mark the occasion. I did a good thing. I got a job promotion. I require, oh, I didn't get this thread all the way through. You gotta, celebrate, right? This. Why didn't you thread all the way? All right, well, you know what? We'll do this way then. It's a little long, but it's fine. Anyways, so I saw for the new album that they put out for actually a not bad price, all things considered. They've put out a signed version of the album. So I was like, oh, if I get the promotion, that'd be a very lovely present to me. But nobody's telling me if I'm getting the promotion or not. So now I just get to agonize. Hello, Licky Clock. How are you doing this Tuesday? I'm bitching about dumb things. Yeah. Nope. Nope. No. Get in the hole. There we go. Elizabeth continues to argue with the inanimate sewing thread. News at 11. Actually, it's no. There's no. Is it really a news at 11? I think it's just news all the time now, and it's very exhausting. I would like not news, please. Not news. A little bit of not news would go a long way, I think. It's also like hard to avoid. I think I've complained about this in the past too. Like, I find the only times I can really like avoid the news are when I go on vacation. Because even if it's like I refuse to consume the news, I go to work and people are like, hello, I've consumed the news. I'd like to discuss. And it's like, shit. Stupid coworker is stupid trying to be sociable with me. Whoop. Don't they know I'm trying to not engage? Oh well. I also find like with all the current trends in offices, like if you want to avoid people, it's hard now because it's like all this open concept, like low, like I hesitate to call them cubicle, but it's basically desks with like chest high walls. So like for me, who plays too many video games, I see it and I'm like, wow, this is just a way to fight for people to fight each other. They can hide behind their chest high walls, but apparently I'm the only one who sees it that way. But also, good luck trying to have any sort of quiet. If anyone decides to have a discussion with anyone else, everybody else hears it because there's nothing to buffer the sound. Oh, well. The moral of the story is offices have dumb arrangements and they should redo them. I feel like I saw like a documentary or something like years ago talking about how like the open concept office sucks. And it's like, preach, preach. But unfortunately, this particular office pays well, so yeah, two more. It lets me pay the bills. Oh, we also got the email today for the corporate mandated summer fun party. Blech. It was funny. So news about it went out, and like the general consensus is like around my coworkers is, do I have vacation that day? Do I have to come in? It's like no one wants to go, which I think is fun. Everyone at work has denounced corporate fun time. No, no, no. So sorry. The song that's currently playing is from a game called Caligula Effect, and it's one of those things where it's like I wish the game inherently is very interesting. Like it's like one of those things where it's like I'm interested in the game, I like the lore, I like the story, but I find sometimes playing through it a slog, and that's frustrating, right? Where you're like, this game is really interesting. I want to like this game. There's a lot going for it, but it's like, oh, the aspect of playing it makes me sleepy. Because like the dungeons are very grindy. Oh, thank you for the follow. Hello, having yarn. Welcome on into the Dungeon Lounge. I'm Elizabeth. It's craft day. I'm cross stitching. How are you? I'm bitching about various things that my playlist likes me think about. But yeah. What? Sorry, how many more stitches do I need? I need 4 stitches in this row. Okay. Reminder, I have no idea what I'm doing. Do not take anything that you see me doing as any sort of tutorial. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm sure Hello Having Yarn knows what they're doing, though. Should I throw out my notes in? Yes. Throw them all out. Burn them. Purge it. Oh, our CanCon's here. Everyone on, get your Dungeon Lounge business, or not business, Dungeon Lounge bingo cards and check off CanCon. We're done. We're good. One of these days I'm going to have to explain CanCon again and I'm just going to make a frowny face. I'll be like, eh. Then 211. I almost went to see this band live. And then I didn't. Which I'm sure is anticlimactic, but because originally they were going to do a tour with Block Party. And I was more excited for Block Party of the two. But then Block Party canceled. So I was like, well, never mind. Seen a bit of classic night. Oh, yeah. Like what? I mean, when I think about like classic 90s CanCon, honestly, my brain goes towards like, you know, like those like concerned children's advertisers ads where it's like, learning about the house hippo and shit like that. The I Mother Earth, the Tea Party, the Doughboys. Honestly, yes. I am a big fan of the Tea Party. And I'm really frustrated because I've always wanted to see them live, but I've heard conflicting accounts about whether or not it's worth going to see them live. You've opened for all of them. Wow. Okay, so you can confirm this then. The stories I've heard about I Mother Earth, or not, sorry, wrong band. The Tea Party is that the lead singer has a bad habit of getting drunk before concerts. And as a result, you either got a good performance or you got a drunk performance. And he was a bit of a diva. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I would prefer it not be true. We were told not to mention Jim. I get it. He does look a bit like Jim Morrison, doesn't he? But then he has like that I'm an asshole mustache sometimes. Sorry. I don't know why that's so funny. Oh, that's glorious. That's the best. I didn't know you had a band fan. That's cool. I apparently saw something coming out that I Mother Earth is doing a free concert in September, I think. Yeah, of course, yeah. But yeah, they were all big before. They were all big just as the net was starting to, like... Tea Party I Mother Earth was all very late 90s, early 2000s. Because, yeah, I Mother Earth's lead singer broke off as a solo artist, I believe is Edwin. And he had some success. If I recall correctly. He was a creep? Oh, you've heard different stories than me. The things that I've heard is that he was apparently quite nice, but that sucks if he's not. Shitty if he's naughties. Their bass player was super nice. Okay, so maybe he's a bass player. It does strike me, though, like, there could be a lot of ego, I think, in bands. And I know there's like kind of the trope of the lead singer is diva. See all the drama about Nightwish, which we will not be reciting tonight. Asking teens backstage for booze? Ugh, that is creepy. Don't ask underage people for booze. Speaking about divas, it's the ultimate siren diva. Okay. It might be alright, I would be too if I were you. Too bad you must die now. I am gonna claw out your eyes, then drown you to death. I am gonna claw out your eyes. I bet the sirens wouldn't ask people for booze. Mostly because she's causing them trying to drown them. She's just doing sick burns in the songs. Ugh. It's one of those things. Sometimes it's like, what is it? Never meet your heroes. Never hear about your '90s nostalgia bands are actually assholes. No one tell me if Our Lady Peace was assholes. I don't think I could take it. I don't have the emotional fortitude. That was the big one for me when I was a young small banshee. Was one Our Lady Peace. I will get the name right one of these days. Yeah. It's like anything. It's going to be a mix. There was a phrase I heard once. Like people talk about the idea of, and I've talked about this before. Repetitive. I know. There's a phrase that power corrupts, and I don't see power corrupts. Oh, have you met them too, Licky? Everyone's met them except me. Oh shit. Zero veracity. Okay, never mind. My apologies. What was I saying? When someone gets power, if they are a good person, they will stay good for the most part. But if they were secretly shitty all along, then the getting money, getting power, getting thing reveals the shit. So that's what I would say. It's not the power corrupts, it reveals. It was the shit was there all along. They hid it under a cloak of something or other. And I like that interpretation better than the idea of power corrupting. Anywho. Saw them over from others. Cool. That's cool. Yeah. It's one of those things like I did get to see Our Lady Peace once live. I was very happy to do so. Pre-pandemic, of course. And the big thing that I found challenging, or not challenging, I don't even know why I said that word. They were performing with Matthew Good Band. So it was a good night overall. But you could tell the ravages of age had come for them because if you've heard any songs by Our Lady Peace, he has a very high head voice or falsetto. Superman's Dead, a lot of the big songs, they've got that 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 part, right? He can't do that no more. He's too old. He can't. So he does it in a lower register when he can, but he doesn't attempt the higher head voice anymore. And it's like, aw, but how it goes. I am such a foolish girl. Who cares? It's better than without a light. Sometimes I need someone to hold. Oh my shit! My playlist is baiting me. Playlist, what the fuck are you doing? Stupid playlist. Okay. it is kind of like nice to like, hear about, quote unquote local talent. Like I know like isn't like because Billy Talent I think is also like relatively local to the Ontario area as well, if I recall correctly. Or is it 741? Or is it both? Anyway, apparently they're having their farewell tours. I think Billy Talent is at least. I remember my sister talking about it. Which one, Billy Talent or 741? I remember a member of the Dungeon Lounge saw 741 before they were big. Oh no, which one? Billy Talent? Oh yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I remember seeing them and being like, not, I haven't seen them live, thankfully, but I remember like I haven't heard anything indicating that they were anything other than just guys doing their best. And then there was like, what was it for a while? Avril Lavigne was dating the guy from Sum 41. But I think now she's with the guy from Nickelback, which is weird for my brain because I don't like, my brain is like, no, they're two different generations of music. She's too young for him. But it's like, I don't think that's legitimately the case. I think they are actually like closer in age than than my brain thinks. Just, I still imagine Avril Lavigne in her original song Skater Boy or whatever, and it's like, that's not right. People don't age. I feel bad for the people in the chat who are American or whatever, and they're like, what are these idiots talking about? And it's like, sorry, CanCon time. Haha. Yeah. Yeah, I get that feeling. I understand. I get it. Like it's that very like this is the rock that plays when your parents want to feel cool. And like I don't want to like knock Nickelback too much because like, honestly speaking, you are talking about a band who made it very big and like on more than one song, right? And like they can feel it like there was I remember seeing not an interview but like it was honestly I think it was a piece on Much Music. Chat, do you remember Much Music? Anyway, well, when it had music. Anyways, oh Jesus Christ, more CanCon. Hi, Hawksley Workman. Anyway, did you get to play with them? Van, sorry, I'm jumping. What was I saying? Shit. Bring your thought back. Oh, it's gone. It's gone. Maybe it'll come back later. No, fair enough. Now I remember Nickelback. We were talking about Nickelback. They were kind of like doing like a top piece talking about like everybody makes fun of Nickelback, but they still sell out their shows. So either everybody's lying or there's like a secret majority that really likes them. So it's like one of those things where it's like, it feels like everyone makes fun of them, but still go to their concerts, right? I hate them sincerely. Mostly because I got burned out on This Is How You Remind Me. Which, I mean, I think everyone did. Yeah, same. They weren't for me. And that's fine. And like, yeah, at a certain point, you just couldn't escape them, which I think is both the success and the failure of CanCon. You had stations that, it was on the one hand, I like the promotion of, Canadian talent and, learning about local acts and things like that. But on the other hand, Licky Glock, how dare you? When a Canadian had happened, it got overplayed. God damn. Like the other big one was when Titanic came out was Celine Dion. Was Celine Dion's My Heart Will Go On. Like, oh my God. I still like can't handle that stupid flute. Miss My Legs Being More Fringe was weird when some got back. Yeah. See, look at this photograph doesn't bother me as much. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I brought some more memories back with a discussion of My Heart Will Go On. Though I will say the best way to make Flora laugh is there's like a shitty recorder version of My Heart Will Go On, play that shitty recorder version, you loser. It's great. It's fun. It's like there's like, I think for like there's like for every person there is like their absolute trigger, which is like regardless of how long it's been, regardless of how many times you do it, you play the right clip, you play the right music or whatever, like whatever their trigger is, and that's it. They're done. Like they're laughing for the next 20 minutes. Their belly's gonna hurt. Like they're just fucking done. And yeah, it is fun to know what those things are. Because I like being able to, if someone's having a bad day, just be like, you know what? Here you go. I'm mostly ambivalent to the loose change, but you know what? And that's fair too. Like honestly, at the end of the day, my general kind of thing is like, if you do or don't like a thing, fine. But if, like there's enough shit going on in the world, like what you like. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason to get upset that someone likes a thing unless that thing is hurting someone else, right? And at the very least now I find like, since like largely moving my playlists off of radio and things like that, it's not as always great for discovery, but at the very least, if I don't want to listen to something, I don't have to because I just don't put it in my playlist. Thankfully, Spotify has never been like, hey, would you like to hear Celine Dion? And honestly, I think there'll be a national holiday of mourning, let's put it this way. She will not live forever. And I don't mean that like in, just in, because I know like she was, I think, semi recently diagnosed with I think it was called like stiff person syndrome or something. Like your muscles start going rigid. And that like was like, shit, that sucks. Like for someone who's a performer and things like that, just being able to lose being able to do it, it just not something I would wish. Like I remember there's a J-pop artist I used to follow for a long while named Ayumi Hamazaki. And like I remember like learning, like I was like, oh, why isn't she active anymore? It seems like she was doing like, seems like she was doing a lot of output and a lot of good music. And then finding out, she basically had to like semi-retire because she went deaf. And I'm like, oh my God, like, and I know you don't necessarily have to stop performing music or whatever, but like a lot of singing, because she was a singer, a lot of your performance ability sometimes is determined by being able to kind of hear yourself. Oh, okay. My Spotify is a random gem from Man in the Box. Who performs that? But it was just like of all, like, if you've, I've got, Alice in Chains, fair enough. Okay. But like, I think everyone's kind of got ahead in their tier list, like about like, if I have to lose some of my five senses, which ones I'm willing to let go in what order. And I feel like for like a lot of musicians, it's, hearing goes right at the top, like, oh, I'll, take my eyes, take my tongue, whatever, but leave the hearing. And wasn't that another thing for one of like the old was it Beethoven? Some classical dead guy also was going deaf and he hated it. Yeah, Beethoven. Like he lost his hearing as he was saying, and I know like he tried to keep going, and I know like I think his later music ended up being very percussive. A lot of things that he could hear through vibration. But yeah, if you're a singer, I don't really know if you can really continue if you lose your hearing, because again, like how do you catch your pitch? But it's shitty. And I think there was a lot of movies about Beethoven as well. And that one song, Rock Me Amadeus, which has nothing to do with Beethoven. Okay. 5, okay. I'm just counting my stitches. But yeah, I remember kind of like honestly for me in my tier list, I would I put hearing as my top one. I don't, if I lose my sense of touch, or like I don't want to, but if someone's like, you must lose a sense to continue or something, like hearing is the last thing I will offer up. Which is weird considering a lot of my crafts are very visual. So maybe I should amend that statement. I don't know. It's hard. And I mean, honestly, like, I think for the most part, hearing and vision are your most kind of like how you interact with the world, right? Like, kudos to those who make it work without those. Let me just check that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, got to be top 2, right? And I remember that honestly, when I was in university, I mentioned before, I did a degree in neural computation. And a lot of it had to do with first learning how neural systems worked properly before recreating them as computer models. But anyways, so like I remember when doing the sections on like hearing and sight, there was so much research, so much like if you wanted anything, any obscure question, chances are you could find a study, you could find, a paper, you could find something. And then like for the rest of the senses, it's like, bleh. And I remember like one of the professors complaining about it, where it's like, if you are interested in studying like the sense of taste, or if you're interested in studying the sense of smell, there is so much less literature because they like to be clear, they're not the sexy senses to study. They're not the ones that get the funding, right? And it's like, oh, that's kind of shitty. Because I think it's one of those things where it's like, I wouldn't rank it high, but I do very much enjoy the sense of taste. I like being able to enjoy a cheesecake. And I know, like, to some degree, like, both your sense of smell and taste are kind of, like, intertwined, if I recall correctly. Like, my understanding how your sense of smell works is that you bring in a scent, and then it's because of the way your nose is connected to your mouth, it basically brings the particles, the little whattables, through your nose, and then it puts it down on your tongue. So you're using your tongue to kind of like recognize the smell, if that makes sense. Like there's still stuff within your nose, but like it's kind of a combination of both, which is why if one's not working, like a lot of people who comment that they've lost their sense of smell talk about taste being deadened unless they're very strong tastes, like super salty, super sweet, super sour. You know what I mean? Like that had to be the things that like really trigger something. So it's like one of those things where it's like smell tends to be what they call a primal sense, in the sense that where the nose, like when you interpret a smell or whatever, it connects to like very like lower brain functions, which is like what I call like your like unevolved brain, if that makes sense. Like the things that control like you breathing, the stuff that that you don't have to think about, or like very base primal functions like your fight or flight responses and stuff like that. The love of scent, smell, because like say for instance, if you smell smoke, that means you may need to fucking run. There could be fire, right? So it has to be like very quick reactions need to be required in that respect. So I find a lot of like my nostalgia, like like say for instance, like I smell something like it smells like Christmas, right? You may not necessarily get that from a visual cue, right? You're like, the Christmas smell. I went on a little ramble, didn't I? Woo. We just went on a little jaunty rant. Sorry about that. Sorry for what? I don't know, ranting. I mean, in theory, I guess I shouldn't. I mean, it is ultimately the point of streaming, I guess, is for me to be rambling. I guess, like, I mean, I'm sure there are streamers that are completely silent and that's their jam, right? But I don't think the isn't really what I don't think the Dungeon Lounge is advertised itself as a quiet channel. We make the noises. Yeah, it is. You know, sometimes you just got to do the things that entertain you and make time go zoom. But I mean, ultimately, you know, shock and surprise, the stuff I studied in university was stuff I was interested in. I will say to the credit of my parents, while they were not supportive, they you know, like my initial, I think I've said before, my initial one was I wanted to go into university for writing. They said no, 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 writing no pay no bills unless you're Stephen King, and even then you're not Stephen King, and it's like, oh, ouch, thanks, mom and dad. But they did still want me to pick something I was interested in, and I was interested in what I studied. So I think the brain is very, very, very interesting. Especially, and I think the brain as it relates to technology is also interesting. Except for, like, you know, shittier applications. That's a frustrating thing. And I think I remember Grimm talking about it at some point where let's be clear. I don't support generative AI in its current state. But is there not a version of generative AI that could be legitimately helpful? Like, imagine you give. Okay, I'm going to rant and then I'll do the redeem. I see the redeem. Imagine you have all of the all of the data of all of like medical discoveries, of diagnoses, of patients, of symptoms. You put all of that together into a model and use it as a way to try and like discern patterns, to find things that determine what a combination of symptoms could mean for an illness. Like that is legitimately interesting to me. Like that's like something where it's like, wow, we could, you know, have someone come in with this vague thing of symptoms and have, you know, potentially a well-trained, well-sourced model that could, you know, be like, hey, have you considered lupus? I mean, it's never lupus, but have you considered lupus? And yeah, like that would be a really net positive thing. But let's again be clear. That's not exactly the moneymaker, is it? Is it? And that's my frustration. Is like there's so many things that I like, yeah, you know, I learned about or like was discussed in like my ethics class. Yes, I'm talking about AI again. I promise I got here honestly. And it's frustrating it's frustrating we're not getting that. It's frustrating we're not getting that. I jumped. It happened. I started talking about what sense I would lose if I lost a sense, and I talked about hearing. So we landed on hearing, the sense of hearing, and then I talked about the things that I learned in my university degree as about the sense of hearing, about the studies, and then, you know, it cascaded from there. You know, my little like 6 degrees of separation. Instead of Kevin Bacon, it's 6 degrees of how I get back to complaining about AI. Muse is here. I will say I wasn't complaining about like I was talking about how it could not be shitty. But we don't live in that universe, sadly. Maybe one day. Da, 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 da. And I will say, like, I'm legitimately interested, like, not in Gen AI specifically, like, but I am interested in like the does this unit have a soul? Like that stuff. That stuff I love. I could go on that for days. It's interesting how for me, like there's like a lot of fiction about the idea of like when you are confronted with a creation that makes you have to ask, what defines me? What defines me as a human? What makes me sentient? What makes me thinking, feeling? What makes me me? And when confronted with that, we're confronted with a machine with another species. I mean, we'll talk about machines for the sake of right here, with an intelligence that may not match yours, but that doesn't make it not sentient, if that makes sense. Yeah, yeah. Like that stuff. Like, I mean, like I remember like way back in university, like I took a science fiction reading course for one of my electives in university, and I got to both read Neuromancer as well as do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep. And it was just like my little banshee brain was just like, ooh. Yeah. And another one that I really enjoyed, which was again kind of adjacent to the AI, but not quite, was Blood Music. That was another one that I enjoyed. I hated the ending of that one, but I remember enjoying the read up to a certain point. And like that stuff I find really interesting. And like, it's a shame that's all been lost in the slop, hasn't it? Though I will say that I think assuming we all don't die in some sort of like hellfire or whatever, I think the media that will start to come out in response to, because like I feel like there was a way to kind of put where it's like the technology that is imagined is always limited by what is kind of like rooted in the current reality. So like say for instance, you take Star Trek. Original Star Trek did have, like teleporters and stuff, but like the tech was like phasers, which were basically just laser guns, right? That was still imagined as a weapon in terms of a gun. And like your tricorders, which were basically like handheld phones, which did kind of predict the advent of cell phones and things like that. But it was still like working within things that are understandable to the people watching at the time, right? You needed, someone needed a shorthand to understand this thing that Captain Picard has pulled out is a weapon. It is gun shaped, even if it does not fire bullets. So it was interesting. I wish I could remember where I saw it. I've taken all this information, then I can't remember my sources. That is not good. You're supposed to cite your sources. That is proper science. If you cannot cite your sources, you are plagiarizing. Plagiarizing. Yeah, and there's that too, for sure. Like, yeah, I mean, how many people enter the field of science because they're like, I want to make a tricorder. Right. And I am down for that. I gotta go 5. One, 2, 3. Okay. From the Earth to the Moon. Yeah, for sure. And I mean, like how many? Yeah, like, and I mean, like even things like H.G. Wells and things like that. Like, if you want to go really, really back, or even like I know it's generally considered more horror, but like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, that is also kind of a sci-fi, right? The ability to overcome the limitations of man is a very science fiction thing. Like with the right set dressing, that could be a pretty 200,000 Leagues Under the Sea. The other big one that I really need to kind of like sit down, so it's 2001, which I initially it was one of those things where like one day my father sat me down and was like, we're going to watch 2 movies. We're going to watch Alien and we're going to watch 2001. I was too small of a banshee to appreciate what I was seeing at the time. So we work our way through Alien. It's unfortunately by that point that I've seen Alien, it has been parodied to death, especially that segment. So there's a segment in Alien where, it's in the vents. Oh no, it's in the vents. And you've got like a little sensor tracker that has like the beeps, and it's like you've got a person in the vent to hear, you've got the alien, it goes beep, beep. And they're like, it's in the vents, get out of the vents. And meanwhile, I'm dying laughing because I'm remembering a parody that I've seen of it. And my father is so fucking pissed at me because he's like, this is like peak tension. And I'm dying laughing. So that was my experience seeing Alien. Of course, once the actual alien showed up, I was like, and I am watching it wrong. I'm sorry. I can't watch it right because I can't watch it in the context of not having the things that parried it after. Unfortunately, I saw it in the wrong order. Sorry. And that's just unfortunately a symptom of age, right? The time and passage. Because like the big thing I remember is like, I'm like, yeah, the alien's scary, but it takes the whole fucking movie to show up. And it's like, yeah, because it was the tension. It was the, but meanwhile, you know, I think at that point I'd already seen Aliens. So it was like, but I know what the alien looks like. I've seen it. Well, you know, there you go, right? It's like, and then the other movie that he sat me down to watch was 2001, which again, it's a slow burn movie. There's a lot of tension buildup, especially at the conflict between, you know, the AI Dave and the crew. And the slow realization of what's going on and blah, blah, blah. And also all the practical effects and everything on display. But of course, me, small banshee, I'm not ready yet to appreciate Stanley Kubrick. And so I get bored. And I'm like, you know, why isn't Dave killed everyone yet? He's like, my father's like, stop. Just stop. I didn't even think we got through 2001. That's the thing is, yeah, like, unfortunately, like, I think it's one of those things where it's like, I think if I sat down and watched it now, I'd be like, wow, I probably would appreciate it properly. Doesn't he have a laser or something? Dave? The AI? No. He mostly, if I recall correctly, at least the parts I saw, he suffocated people. He sent them out into space to die. I can't remember. Like, I mean, there's a whole thing where, like, I mean, a kid's perspective. Yeah, like, yeah, doesn't he have a laser or something? Yeah, like, why doesn't he just turn around the ship and go home? Why is anyone listening to Dave? He's clearly evil. Right? So it's but again, like, I'm approaching it with like, I had already been exposed to the world after 2001 came out. So a lot of the big plot points were always already spoiled for me. It's like, you know, say for instance, I greatly enjoyed Final Fantasy VII. But I also greatly enjoyed that I wasn't spoiled on the fact that, you know, spoiler alert, Aerith dies. You know, it had its full impact because I'm like, oh my God, they killed her. Right? Like, that's another thing that's been parodied to shit all the time. Like, I kind of understand like why they took the remakes in the direction that they did, because it's like everyone's already seen Aerith die, and you know, you're not gonna just rehashing it isn't gonna really do anything for people, I guess. Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, everyone like I always remember that joke. Like, I remember when Titanic came out, it's like, spoiler alert, the boat sinks. It's like, well, yeah, the boat sinks. And to be blunt, like, that was part of the advertising. They're like, come watch the boat sink. They filmed it really good. They had a whole take that they filmed, you know, because James Cameron is a fucking idiot. He didn't want a CG boat to sink. He's like, no, let's go put a boat out and let's fucking sink it, and we'll film it while it happens. Which, I mean, on the one hand, kudos. Yeah, it was a good segment. It was a lot, like, you know, you know, in the world of, you know, was it the best use of money? I can't answer that. What's the first one? Well, like, it's weird because Titanic is kind of like a movie in two parts, right? You've got, and because like the movie's like what, like 3 hours, 2.5, whatever. It came out in 2 VHSs. But like, there's kind of like the front half, which is all like oh no, you've got plucky Jack, and he's a common boy. He's fallen in love with the rich girl, and the rich girl's unhappy with her posh protected life, and she just wants the freedom to go hang out with Jack, but she's got an overbearing fiance, and who will she pick? Like, there's that whole front half, and then, you know, then the boat sinks, and that's like, woo, boat sinking. Right? People did not pay to come see Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet. Will they? Won't they? Well, then again, did get naked. Some people, I think, did go see her be naked. Meh. So I mean, it was very much like a like it was a choice, I guess is the best way to put it. Because like and I get it because it's like again, the boat sinks. That's not the spoil like that's not a spoiler, but then get people invested in the plot of Rose and Jack. So that way, when the boat sinks, it's like, oh no, well their love survived the boat sinking. Fair enough, yeah. I will say sometimes though, like it is. I like the surprise movie, if that makes sense. Like I like like I like it when it's like either someone kind of like puts on a movie that I'm going in like blind on, and then it's like, wow, this movie actually was really good. I enjoyed this. Like I would say like the last movie that I kind of had that was like, wow, I really enjoyed this. And I had absolutely like no foreknowledge that I would, or like, I didn't see trailers for it. I didn't see, like, I went in 100% blind, was actually The Nice Guys. 100% recommend that movie. If you haven't seen it, it is excellent. It's got Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling in it. Ryan Gosling pre Barbie movie, pre Blade Runner 2049, pre all that stuff. It is so good. Um, it's done by the guy who did Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. So if you're familiar with Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, then when I saw The Nice Guys, I didn't know that. For Bullet Train, interesting. Okay, okay. Another one that caught me by surprise was Snowpiercer, which was Chris Evans pre Captain America. Yeah, I had no idea. Yeah, yeah. Snowpiercer was also really, yeah. I feel like Bullet Train and Snowpiercer might be in the same genre. The genre of train. I mean, yeah, and that's like also like yeah, like it feels hard. Like it feels like I'm always like and the same thing like with video games and stuff like that. I feel like I'm drowning in media. Yes, and I hear that. I hear that so much. Like that's the thing is like I really want to see Frankenstein, the new one from Guillermo del Toro. But it's one of those things where it's like I want someone to watch it with me because there is nothing worse than watching a thing and not being able to share that thing. If that makes, I don't know if that makes any sense, but like, so like say for instance, if you go and see, like if I had to see, for instance, watch The Nice Guys by myself and been like, wow, this was a great movie. And then have nowhere to put that energy. Like, it's like, I can't talk to anyone about it. By the point I had seen it, the movie had already fallen under the radar. So yeah, like you're like trying to find your peeps and you can't because it's like I watched it alone. So it's like one of those things where it's like I kind of want to have someone around when I watch it, right? But like at the same time, it's like I can't be like, hello, I abduct this person, sit down, you must watch this with me, right? I require company, sit here, consume this media with me, right? Like that's not you can't do that to people. Well, I mean, you can, but I'd rather not. Fine, I'll do it. Because that was honestly for me, I did end up watching because I had seen Knives Out. And I was like, this is a really good, I really enjoyed Knives Out. I'm like, this is a great movie. So when Glass Onion came out, I unfortunately, like any attempts to see it with the group completely fell through. So I was like, fuck it, I'll watch it myself. I had one of those nights where I was just like, fuck it, watch it. So I watched Glass Onion. And then I remember like, I was like, this is the greatest movie. Well, okay, maybe not the greatest movie, but I really enjoyed it. And by this point, I was talking to Grim, but it was before he had moved to Canada. So like it was like one of those things where it was like, Grim, I need to, I need, I'm making you watch this movie. Someone has to watch this movie with me. And it's like, but you've already seen it. I don't care. I'm watching it again. Now, I think in the end, I think we had like an exchange going for it where it's like I made him watch Glass Onion. And I think later on I had to watch The Big Lebowski because I missed out on completely on seeing The Big Lebowski. I know. I'm sorry. Don't get mad at me. So that was kind of the agreed upon trade. But yes. The happy ending is that both movies were enjoyable. And then when Wake Up Dead Man came out in theaters, we got to go see that. Hooray! I wonder if they're going to do any more knives like from that series. I do enjoy Daniel Craig going around solving mysteries. It is a lot of fun. I almost missed this stitch here, but I didn't. I see it. Yeah, get in there. Yeah. And it's amazing how much like what movies you've seen or haven't seen like inform your cultural touch points. Cause like say for instance, like, you know, I'm prone to quoting Star Wars or The Matrix, but like if you haven't seen those movies, you're gonna be like, Elizabeth, what are you doing? Right? Or The Simpsons. The Simpsons is a big one for me. I quote The Simpsons all the goddamn time. Mrs. Horse, you'd like to get down there. But if you haven't seen The Simpsons, you just think I said something weird and a completely non sequitur, right? Right. Maybe it's something. Yeah, that's the thing. Is like I feel like sometimes like certain, you know, I don't know what to call them, but like your lexicon. I'm sorry, I don't know where you're referencing, or I'm not picking it up immediately. Oh wait, no, that is Simpsons. That's Smithers. I get it. I'll follow. Sometimes it takes like you have to like go through. Yeah, you have to go through like the 10 seasons of Simpsons before you get to like, oh yeah, that one. Or what was that one thing? What was it? Homer was trying to find a new bar. He ended up in a lesbian bar. And he was just like, he's like, there's something off about this place. And then he stands up. This place doesn't have a fire exit. And then he's like, enjoy burning in hell. And then like runs off. And I was like, what was her problem? Or enjoy your death trap, ladies, was what he said. Right? Was it? It's like he didn't care when it was a lesbian bar. He just was worried about the fire exit. All right. Oh. Ad break. Who the fuck has an ad break in this century? Okay, we'll try and do the. Brr. But yeah, like I feel like there's an entire generation that's been raised by The Simpsons. So, like, you know, you can say the right quote or whatever, and it's like, oh, like an immediate connection. Which I almost missed. Oh God. So here is what I would say the interesting duality that is my parents. So I meant monorail. Monorail's a good one. I mentioned earlier that my father made me sit down and watch Alien and 2001, and I was too young to appreciate. Guess what show I wasn't allowed to watch while I was growing up because my parents thought the violent sequences in Itchy and Scratchy were too much for my little banshee brain. But Alien was okay. Like, I mean, on the one hand, I kind of get it because, like, one of the biggest sequences of violence in Alien is, the android, and it's all like white, so it's like, oh, it doesn't count. But it's like of all the things to be like, this is the thing that you cannot watch. It was The Simpsons. I mean, eventually got relaxed, obviously, but then I caught up. Yes, it's log. Ren and Stimpy is one that I never ended up watching, and it wasn't like I don't recall my parents having an opinion one way or the other. I don't think they knew it existed, and I don't recall like caring, like if that makes sense. Ren and Stimpy just didn't appeal to it's slug, it's big, it's heavy, it's wood. It's slug, it's better than great, it's good. Everybody wants a lug. Something, something, something lug. Though I've heard, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I remember hearing that the guy who did Ren and Stimpy turned out to be an asshole, like one of the head writers. There was like a whole like sweep of like Nickelodeon talent that turned out to be jackasses or something. Again, don't meet your heroes. Oh no, that's not. That is not. So I have to redo that. I didn't leave enough thread. It's going to unwind. Entirely possible. It's been that. Yeah. Because wasn't it like I never saw that show with Rick and Morty? I never watched it, but didn't it turn out that the creator of that also was kind of a bit of an ass? I could be wrong again. No one sue me. I have no money. Not sure. Yeah. Like I feel like they had to like recast him or something like that because like he was both the writer and he voiced like Morty as well, or was it Rick, the old man character? And then yeah, allegedly nothing's been proven in court. Dang it. Yeah, I'm gonna do it again. Yeah. Like Rick and Morty was another one that kind of like passed me by, and I wasn't interested in it. All I remember was like the news stories about like when McDonald's brought back Szechuan sauce, and it had to do with like a limited tie-in with Rick and Morty, and people started like acting out in restaurants and shit. And it's just like, don't do that. Don't be an asshole in public, please. Thank you. Let people go about their day. I would say that was like one of my most like biggest frustrations is like people being shitty in public for the clicks, for the meme, for the whatever. Like, oh God. I was coming home from work one day on the train, and we got these two dumbass teenagers who so one thing about the commuter train in this area is during rush hour, if you want to like, you know, disassociate for lack of a better term, they have something called quiet sections. And the idea is like, if you go in the quiet section, you be fucking quiet, right? Like it's people who want to sleep, it's people who just want to quietly be away from the noise, you know, before they, you know, get home and have to, you know, deal with whatever is at their home. So, you know, every so often you get either people who don't know or people who do know and decide to be assholes about it. Oh, thank you. I'm stretching. Oh shit! It's been an hour. We gotta do a full stretch. But yeah, like that kind of like acting out in public. Yeah, nuisance streamers, I think that's the right term. And like these two kids were being like absolute little shits. So first off, let's go with the nice assumption. They just don't know. So one of the passengers kind of looked over and was like, "Hey guys, this is the quiet floor. It's rush hour. Let it go." You know, like, and they kept doing that thing, and they were fucking little racist shits about it too. So they kept, every time he tried to explain, and again in good faith to start, they kept saying what, because you know initially it's like, oh, like okay, maybe they didn't hear me, I'll explain again, and then eventually becomes apparent, no, they're being shits. And also then they said, just to put the extra nail into the shitty coffin, Can't understand you with that accent. And it's like, come on. Come on. So the antics continue. And like, let's put it this way, like I'm generally I'm non-confrontational. Rim can confirm this. Many people can confirm it. I am a non-confrontational banshee. They were literally sitting next to me. And literally the sign for the quiet area is right above their head. So I'm like, so I muster my little banshee courage together and I'm like, guys, the sign is right here. You don't understand what that guy is saying? Okay, you can read though, right? And they start pulling that. What is, and because the time on the poster is military time, so it's like, oh, like quiet hours are 1500 to 1900. They're like, there's no such, again, they're playing stupid, but not actually stupid. So eventually I got my sick burn in. This is my one sick burn for the entire year. I'm never going to get another one. I looked the kid straight in the eyes and you know what? I'm like, you know what? Your lack of comprehension is not my fucking problem. And that shut him up for about 5 minutes as he tried to figure out if I insulted him or not. So, I mean, eventually he figured it out. He was like, wait, she used big words. And he was pissed off. By that point, I was refusing to engage with them. I just was not talking to them because it's like at that point, like they had their phone cameras out. It's like they're looking for some attention. Don't give it to them. At that point, it's like, you know what? Just stop engaging with them. Like one other person tried to be like, hey guys, everybody in this train's worked long days. We just want to go home. Can you pull don't pull this shit right now. Thanks. Like just like, again, trying to appeal to that like empathy, sympathy, humanity, something. It didn't work. Honestly, the only thing that ended up working is they departed on different stations. So like one left significantly earlier than the other. And suddenly when the second one didn't have his friend anymore, he suddenly found his silence. So, I mean, I guess in the end, that's it. That's, anticlimactic, but I got my little itty bitty, clap back to a fucking teenager, for whatever karma or whatever it's worth, which is probably not much. It's a fucking kid, right? I doubt they learned anything that day. Except maybe, somebody, yeah, right. Just, ugh. And the thing is, I also at that point, like, again, as I said, like, they're looking for a reaction, right? They don't care what the reaction is as long as they get one. So anything other than silence is gonna feed that little shitty part of their brain. Anywho. If you're that type of teenager, boo on you. That people rest on the train. It's one of those things where like sometimes it's like I don't want to be like that adult, but it's like, was I like this as a teenager? Was I this shitty? It's like, and I feel like I wasn't, but who knows? Maybe I was. Maybe I was secretly a shitty banshee as a teenager. Yeah, and I guess that's kind of the thing is like let's be clear, like for whatever purpose, they are essentially clout chasing, right? They are looking to get reactions so they can film it, right? So I grew up at a time where that wasn't an option. If you, whatever sick burn or whatever you got would not be filmed. Or antics, I guess. Like, you know, if you were carrying a camera, it was obvious you were carrying a camera. And it was also very heavy. So it wasn't practical either, right? Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, I would say, yeah, the only thing that was kind of successful is the one good, again, that is my one good insult for the year. Like, and I wasted it there. I get one good one, and then my brain's going to be useless the rest of the year. Because, like, you know, isn't that the worst feeling? Like when you're like, you know, you have an interaction with someone, and you know, in the moment you're quiet, or you're like, nah, or like you give some sort of like weak clap back, and then like, you know, 5 minutes later, or like whatever, you're like, wait. But the moment's passed. You can't go back and be like, hey, right? So you're like going like, God damn it! You're like, I don't know about other people, but at least for me, I would stew. Yeah, the 2020 like hindsight clapback, or it's like, oh, that would have been awesome if I had done it. Everyone in the train would have clapped. They would have been like, congratulations, sick burn. But no. So that's so I've used up my good one for the year, and the rest will be me staring blankly into the middle distance. And then when I get home, I'll be like, shit, I could have said this and it would have been great. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing is like you need like the good like, you know, like hasta la vista, baby, or something like that, right? Pew, 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 pew. I'm just making sure I'm properly aligned. But yes, like ultimately at the end of the day, I would have preferred that I not have to use my brain and that I could have just slept on the train. Cause like also like again, like that was the early days of like FIFA just getting started. So it's like the train was super crowded. It was late. The air conditioning wasn't working great. So it was just like, I want to dissociate for the next hour or so. Could you not? Could you not? All right, so I'm just trying to look at the pattern. And as people who've ridden with me on the train can attest, like it doesn't take much. I fall asleep on the train. Was that about to say? Oh, I was talking about a train ride where I got stuck with shitty people and the AC wasn't working great. So it was like doubly worse, like shitty people and like not great AC. I just want to dissociate, you know, let me dissociate on the train and pass out, please. No, I better end it here. So it's getting too tight. Better call it. Or not call it, but like. I just realized I didn't take my proper stretch when it was redeemed. I drank, but I didn't stretch because I got distracted talking about train etiquette. Okay, let me just fix this. All right. Proper stretch time. Time to crack something. Ugh. Oh, my back. Fuck. You think I would learn? Get something with lumbar support, but no. All right, time to crack the knuckles. Give him a little rotate, prevent the carpal tunnel. That is another thing. Like I was talking earlier about like what sense you might be with, like, you know, like your tier list of your senses. I feel like also like appendages. Like I feel like it's like, oh, like if you had to sacrifice your feet or your hands, it'd be like, goodbye, feet. I'm keeping these. Unless they're planning to replace them with robot hands, in which case give me the robot hands. Like good robot hands. I'll take that. Like, you know, like you hear stories about like, was it Deus Ex? Oh, you know what? Honestly, it's probably a lot of cyberpunk media where people like willingly get their hands cut off to be replaced with like good, super typing hands. I would 100% be down for that. Telekinesis? Telekinesis is an option. That's not real. Unless it is real. Is it real? Now, I will say in the discussion of the senses, you can't tell me, the one that people often forget, like people are like, there's only 5 senses. No, there are 6, but not like, oh, ESP. No. Let me educate you. So there is obviously your sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. But what is referred to as the 6th sense, the 6th sense that people don't tend to remember is what is called proprioception. And you're like, Elizabeth, please educate me. What is proprioception? You said a word. Okay. So proprioception is the recognition of where you are in space. So, like, say, for instance, if you hold your arm out, you know your arm is out and to the right. And where it kind of exists in space, and then kind of relatively how close you are to, like, maybe hitting the wall with your hand or things like that. That's your proprioception. And funnily enough, proprioception is one of the sense, like apparently a way to test for certain types of autism and ADHD is to check a person's proprioception. Because apparently the quote unquote he naturally klutzy is actually people with weak proprioception. And it apparently tends to show up in certain neurological doobly-doos. Shock and surprise. So that is interesting. And it tends to be, again, it's not really as much studied compared to the other sexier senses, but it is an important one because, again, like it kind of sometimes keeps you from running into shit, right? Because it's like your body being like, wait, no, based on where you are in space, if you turn to the right, you are going to slam yourself into a pole. So it's important, but no wonder maybe. There you go. Weak proprioception. So technically, if you were telekinetic, that's your 7th sense, not your 6th sense. Technically. Not to actually, but actually. Yeah. Or honestly, every time my brain sees the word telekinesis, my brain goes, that's or like, oh my god, with mind bullets. That's telekinesis, Kyle. There you go. That's your Tenacious D reference for the day. I need you. The thread. Passing the sentence. Oh, oof. There's a term for it. There is. There is a term for it because I know when you aren't good at it, the colloquial term is time blindness, but there is a term for the ability to mark appropriately the passage of time. Because again, like in certain neurological conditions, the ability to accurately mark the passage of time is diminished or skewed or, you know, stuff like that. Right. Again, it's interesting stuff. I think the brain is super interesting. And it's one of those things where it's like, if it weren't ethical to like dissect brains, I would be 100% down for dissecting some brains. Other people's brains, not mine. And also like not yours, Chad. Your brains are fine. I don't want to dissect your brains. But someone else's brain is completely up for grabs. I would do it 100%. But no, it's not ethical. People like their brains in their skull. So that's why it's like always interesting to me, like the case studies that can emerge. So like, as I mentioned before, because it is not ethical to go around sticking needles or poking people's brains or cutting shit to, study them, we're often left with the case studies. So like, say, for instance, the big one is, oh shit, I can't remember. He's known only by his initials. But the big thing that happened is he was a railway worker. Yes, maybe. Don't worry about it. He was a railway worker, and during an accident, he fell, and a railway spike went up through. This is going to a quick discussion. Cover your ears. Yeah, he has a railway spike goes up through his eyeball and up through the front part, the frontal lobe of his brain. He lives. Obviously, he's blind, and that eye is lost, and they're able to remove the railway spike and everything. But his personality completely changes because the frontal lobe is generally associated with what is called high-level planning and risk assessment. So, like, basically, I mentioned before, like your lower brain functions tend to be at the bottom of your brain, and then basically the higher functions are more towards the top of the brain. So your frontal lobe has a lot of your, again, planning. Like if you want to talk about like the ego, super ego, and the id's at the bottom. The ego is somewhere in the middle, and your super ego's on top. Anyways, so his personality completely changes. He becomes extremely risky. He develops a gambling habit. And like, I believe his relationship to his partner completely falls apart because she's like, this isn't the man I married. He completely changed. And it's all because like that noticing that difference in the frontal lobe, like because his ability to kind of like his old risk assessment degraded, he was acting on instinct is the best way to put it. The id got control. If you want to go for the Freudian terms. Freud is a hack, by the way. Hack. Anyways, so, but it's a super interesting case story to just think like the right knock to your head could change you. Like how, like your personality, like you, is that fragile. I don't know. That shit's interesting to me. Like being able to like read the different case stories about like how the different aphasias can like determine how you act. And it's like it's scary, but it's also really interesting because it's like, again, like that's a scary thought that, like, oh my God, if I get the right kind of concussion, am I not me anymore? Or if my memories are gone, if I have a certain type of amnesia as a result of something, a lot of people are the sum of their experiences, right? Like, why do I not run out into the middle of a crowd screaming and acting like an asshole? Because, I learned that behavior is a no-no. I have memories and experiences that teach me that it's bad, right? Wait, okay, I missed it's okay, I'll fix it. I'm sorry that you've seen it happen. Only because like again, like, I'm talking about it from like the interesting kind of like clinical thing, but like, people like, essentially that day, while the body remained, the person who married that woman who had those friends that maintained that job, he died. He's gone. Then you got kind of someone wearing his clothing is left behind, right? And that's kind of sad. And you hear about it all the time, like when, family members develop dementia as they become older or things like that, like watching someone in real time lose themselves And it's sad and it's scary. Anyways, I'm going to move to a different topic because that's probably depressing. My scientific curiosity notwithstanding. Right, and kind of works against the whole. Yeah, it kind of does, right? You is you so long as you maintain you-ness. But I will say, on the other hand, like there's some surprising resiliency in the brain, like the neuroplasticity. Like that shit's really also interesting too. So, like, what am I talking about when I talk about neuroplasticity? Well, we'll have to back up a little bit. All right, so here's a very simple example, but kind of illustrates what I'm talking about. So, in your brain, you have Rhode Island, neither road nor an island discuss. So in your brain, you essentially have something called a topographic map. And essentially this map acts as a kind of like interpretation for the different parts of your body. And the topographic map is skewed weirdly. So like say, for instance, your hands have a very big representation of the topographic map because of the fine motor control that, you know, like basically like, you know, like this arm can like kind of move in a couple limited directions. Like it goes like this or, you know, turns, but compared to your fingies, the digits, if you want to use the reboot word, my digits. Anyways, you know, this does a lot more. So in your topographic map in your brain, your hands occupy a big amount of space versus your arm or what have you. And say for something shitty happens and you lose a hand. Okay, this is end up getting depressing. Okay, whatever. Bye-bye hand. So there's now part of your brain that's no longer receiving signals. The whole section of your brain that's dead. I know it was chipping really badly. It was chipping really badly, so I stripped it earlier. I might repaint them later this week, but for now I'm kind of letting them rest, let them get the oxygen and all that good stuff. So because I find if I do nail coverage too much in a period, my nails get very brittle. Anyways. So you have a whole section of your brain that used to receive signals. It ain't getting it anymore. So instead of that brain becoming like dead or unused, essentially other parts of the topographic map kind of move in. So, you know, what they talk about, like the idea, like say, for instance, after I lost my sense of hearing, my sense of smell became much more acute. That's your neuroplasticity, because it's like, well, if I'm not going to use this part of the brain for this task anymore, another part of the brain moves in and starts using it. And I think that's awesome. Like, I think it's great that your brain can be like, hey, this part of real estate, because your brain is fundamentally like trying to be used all the time. That's why like it really frustrates me. Like, have you ever heard that phrase, oh, you only use 10% of your brain? Fucking bullshit. Kill that person who tells you it. Kill them for lying to you. Okay, actually don't kill them. The Dungeon Lounge does not advocate killing of people who say stupid statements. Anyway, that is a fallacy and like an oversimplification. So the idea is like, sometimes at best, no more than 10% of your brain is active, but all of your brain is used. It's just at any given moment, certain parts are not going to be as active as others. So like say, for instance, right now, I'm kind of probably not using my sense of smell very much. I'm not really smelling anything. It's a neutral smell time. I'm still using my ears. I'm listening to things. I'm feeling things with my fingers. So those parts of the brain are active, but like other parts, no, not so much, not being used. Or like, say, for instance, like, you know, when I'm working on cross stitching, you know, I'm engaging certain parts of my brain that are, you know, engaged with the motor functions and stuff like that, that may not be engaged at other points. So again, like, so if anyone tells you you only use 10% of your brain, imagine what would be possible if you used 100% of your brain. Tell them Elizabeth thinks you're an idiot. There you go. That's it. This random person on the internet thinks you're stupid and you have untrustworthy sources. I think that's really frustrating, is like, you know, like the permeation of like an untruth because enough people have said it. You know what I mean? Like which I mean speaks to, I guess, the current state of society. Uh, what is it? Sometimes the voice of accuracy, like what is it called? Truth by consensus rather than truth by accuracy, because isn't that like what that was initially the quote unquote the problem of Wikipedia, was the idea that since anyone could edit Wikipedia, if you had 5 people making one edit to say 2 + 2 is 5, and then one person is like, but it's 4, it's fucking 4. They're being drowned out by the 5 people who keep editing it back to 5. Does the answer eventually just become 5 because everybody says it's 5? The mass says it's 5, even though it's wrong. Discuss and contrast. I did not realize the stream would become so fucking philosophical. I'm so sorry. You must have a bachelor's of science before you may engage in the dungeon lounge this evening. Elizabeth has become is engaging her smart brain. Lies. I mean, yeah. It's true, right? You're not sorry. No, I'm not. Again, I find this shit interesting. I find it interesting in an intellectual sense. I don't necessarily like it playing out in real time. You know, when you see like the accuracy by masses, when you're like, but it's 4. There are 4 lights, right? We're circling back around to references that people won't have gotten if you haven't watched the shows I watch. WikiGot got it though. Sometimes everything just comes around in a circle. It's a cycle of life. The cycle of references. I did kind of feel kind of bad. Like I keep hearing Picard was really good, but I never got to sit down and watch it. And also it's like gated on a streaming service I don't feel like engaging with. That's frustrating now, like how so much of media now, it's like I think I would enjoy this thing, but I don't have it's all gated on 20 different streaming services now. So if you don't have the right one, fuck you. Because like say for instance, I've enjoyed watching The Bear. A new season comes out this Thursday. It's on Disney Plus. I've turned off my Disney Plus subscription because I wasn't using it. And now it's like, fuck. I mean, I'll probably just sail the high seas, but don't worry about it. And I mean, I guess to some degree, like television media has always been like that. Because again, like, you pay for certain cable subscriptions, but like, it's frustrating to like have a service that's, like say for instance, like you see it with cable, you see it now with streaming, like where it's like it used to be, you only needed 1, maybe 2. Like you get a cable subscription, you get all the channels, you get all the shows. But then they're like, oh, here are these premium channels, which funnily enough, HBO is one of them, where it's like, oh, but you have to pay for subscription plus, cable plus in order to get access to those channels. Hello, Alosin, I'm bitching about media. How are you today on this beautiful Tuesday? I'm complaining about the inshitification of streaming services. All right, so I even. Oh no! Where are you? Like, I don't want to. Don't dox yourself, but like, are you somewhere under the heat wave right now? Thankfully, I'm in an area that's okay right now. But like, I know, like, say for instance, in Europe, it is bad in Europe right now. Like, I think they said they've already had like a number of deaths from people who, funnily enough, not funny, but like, not funny, haha. But like, my understanding is in Europe, they're under like, it's a really bad heat wave. It's not going to break till the end of the week. American Southeast, fair enough. But that's bad too. But they because AC is not common. No, I'm good. I don't want more heat. I know what you're talking about, but we are technically under seasonal for temperature, but I would prefer that, honestly. But anyways, like they're in the 40s right now in Europe. And funnily enough, it's like there have been some heat exhaustion deaths, but the other big one has been people drowning because people keep going into bodies of water to try and get cool. but then not having had, like, it's unfortunately, it's a lot of it like young or elderly who can't stay afloat and then they drown. So it's like technically it's a heat injury, like, or it's a heat death because they only went in the water. Oh, really? I've been opening up my windows. So there's that. But on the other hand, it's like they wouldn't have gone in the water if it wasn't this humid. And yeah, unfortunately, like it was, we were talking about a little bit on the Discord, oddly enough, that in Europe, AC is not common. So getting out of it isn't, or getting away from the heat isn't as easy to do. Like apparently, one town in France, the mayor actually was going around to people and giving them movie passes because the movie theater was air conditioned because the film has to stay temperature controlled, right? So it's one of the few places that has reliable air conditioning. So they're going around being like, I don't care what movie you see, go fucking see a movie. Just go be in the AC for 3 or 4 hours, please, right? Here's some free, like, and also that's a really creative solution. Oh, your home's in the shade. I mean, that'll be better once we get to the depths of summer. Yeah. I will say, like, my place is like, it's good at holding heat, which in the winter is kind of good. You can kind of like run, you don't have to run the heat as high to stay warm. But unfortunately, during summer, you need the AC going. Yeah. I mean, I'm not running it right now. I'm comfortable right now, thankfully. So, and honestly, my power bill thanks me. I mean, that's always the thing that frustrates me. Like when you get to like either like the really high heat or really high AC, and it's like it's frustrating. Because it's like this is a necessity. You know, it's a utility, and meanwhile, it's like how many people have to make the call of like do I heat my home or do I freeze? But I'm able to pay the rest of my bills. Ugh. I got depressing again. Why do I keep doing that? Ugh. If I go to a park, so in this, ooh, that's nice. That's nice too. I remember there was a couple points where I was living near a lake, and that was like that, getting that like that kind of like air off the lake. That was really nice. I no longer live near a lake, like in the sense that I get the breeze off of it. But it's kind of funny because it's like when you look at like the population of like Canada, like we're all clustered. Like the more north you go, the more sparse it gets people wise. Like all of Ontario lives around the Great Lakes, except for like the people out in the mines up north. But yeah, I'm sure our summer will eventually catch up, and I am not looking forward to it. No, 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 no. I don't count. How dare you? I'm sure they want to count. All right, so I'm up there. Okay, so we can kind of loop around here. Hello, feral beast. How are you today?
Oh, look at you. You're so cute. Yes, you are, kitty. Yes, you
Yes,
are.
yeah. Shock and surprise. Sometimes when you introduce me to music, Grim, it ends up in my playlist. I mean, honestly, I'm pretty sure Grim is the one who introduced me to Shikari. It's your fault. Did I? I don't remember. No, I think what happened was, so every so often on Blue Sky, well, at the time I was on Twitter, but I would do it on Blue Sky. Like, I'm like, you know what? I want to listen to something new. Give me a suggestion. And I think you responded with either Run the Jewels or Enter Shikari, maybe both. Because you definitely introduced me to Run the Jewels. Both, yeah. Like the thing is, like both are likely, right? And I mean, I basically have killed my Twitter account, so I don't have the ability to go back and figure it out, nor do I feel inclined to go do it. Right? Like, no point. That was one thing I remember being so frustrated about. So was it? I think it was like a year, maybe 2 years ago. What was it? What was it called? Rage Against the Machine came to do a concert. It was actually years ago now that I remember. Because the initial run of the concert was canceled due to the pandemic. And it was the rescheduled run after the restrictions came off. And it was Rage Against the Machine, but the opener, I believe, was Run the Jewels. And I was like it was one of those things where it's like, at the time I didn't go, and I didn't like, the tickets were like for all the anti-corporatism and everything of Rage Against the Machine, the tickets were like $500 for nosebleeds. So it's like, I couldn't justify the cost. But it's kind of one of those ones where it's like, damn, that would have been good. That would have been a good show. Well. Life is hard. Why does things cost money? Just let me go watch the concerts I want to watch. Oh, hello, Grimothy.
Grimothy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone say hi to Grim.
No.
Okay, don't say hi to Grim. He said no.
Do not accept.
Do it anyways. His consent no longer matters. Yeah, that's definitely a sentence that gets creepier the longer you think about it. Yep, that doesn't. Sorry, I take that back. Undo that. No one clip it. I don't need that living on in perpetuity. Thank you.
Don't say you'll clip.
Yeah, wait, no. Yeah, clip it.
Also,
wait.
the best way to avoid it is you realistically just do not talk about clipping at all. Don't remember.
Yeah.
You might.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah. Funny enough, I think we were talking about Ticketmaster yesterday because I think they got smacked with an antitrust lawsuit. Like a few of them. Yeah. Honestly, probably a few of them.
And I think that they also lost a lawsuit about monopolizing.
Yeah, because I think it was one of those things where they tried to do like a settlement, and initially the settlement was accepted at I think the national level in the States, but then the state because of the way courts work in the United States, some of the states refused the deal and said, no, we're continuing this. You guys are a fucking monopoly and we hate you. And it's like, you know what? I hear that. Yeah, honestly, yeah. Like I would love to see Ticketmaster break up. Like it is intensely frustrating that if I want to go to any show, I only have one option.
I remember explicitly seeing a couple of videos of Kurt Cobain reacting to I believe it was Beyonce at the time having $50 tickets and stuff like that, and it's I wonder how he would have responded to those tickets now if we could revive him for a question. You know what I mean?
Oh God. Well, here's the other thing is let's be clear, all the members of Nirvana let's be clear the drummer went on to do Foo Fighters, Dave Grohl. You think Dave Grohl is keeping his tickets cheap? No. They all do it. Like I'm just literally bitching about what's it called? Rage Against the Machine. The whole like, fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Tickets were still $500, weren't they?
Rage Against the Machine, slightly less.
Yeah.
Well, that's because if you want to sell tickets, because I think the problem is it's not necessarily Ticketmaster's interaction with the audience, it's their interaction with the arenas.
Well, the thing is, Live Nation is owned by Ticketmaster. Live Nation manages the arena.
Exactly.
The rot goes all the way down.
Yep. It's the gambling in Japan problem. Yeah. You're not allowed to gamble, so get these little orbs. Hey, look at those little orbs, those little metal bearings and everything like that. You can take that down the street right across from our parlor.
And trade that for prizes.
Yeah.
Sometimes the prize is cash.
And you know what? The disassociation of those things make it not gambling legal.
Woo!
Because gambling means that you are earning money in the same place.
I will say I appreciated, like, was it a European ruling that basically said it doesn't matter? Like, because like there was a ruling on loot boxes. Like, it doesn't matter that it's not like it isn't like they said it's gambling. At the end of the day, it's loot boxes are gambling.
Yes. The thing with that one is more related to if you're going to gamble, you need to know the odds.
Yes.
With loot box.
Yes, for sure.
It's why Uma Musume is banned, because there's no known rates for each of the horses and whatever when they've got banners.
Gotcha.
But like some other companies get away with the loot box because of the fact that the percentages are fully laid out. I think like
the percentages are garbage, but they're there.
Yeah, you can track that stuff. You can track your history. You can math out everything.
Yeah, because I remember you talking about, like, is it ZZZ?
Yes, Zenless shows you your history and all the percentages of what you can get.
Yeah.
And it entirely lays out your percentage to the point of, like, we can mathematically equate to how much chance you get to certain things.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah.
Dang.
At the end of the day, the big thing is fuck Ticketmaster.
Yep. Fuck the whole operation. Because like that's the other thing. It's like it's not just Ticketmaster and Live Nation. I think they also it's StubHub, or it's like they also have one controlling interest in one of the ticket resale sites.
Yeah.
So it's like it's just the rot is just everywhere. It's everywhere.
Yep. Control every piece of the market. Put it under different companies, legally or distinct. Therefore,
just disgusting. And like, I understand, like, to some degree, like going to a concert or whatever, like it's a privilege. It's not a, concerts are not, a mandated right of the people. But at the same time, I do think that they should not be, like I know, like say for instance, like, my parents, they were able to go take in concerts and not have to, remortgage the house to do it.
Yeah. I remember seeing a couple of like big time artists and everything way back in the day in my hometown.
Oh yeah.
Simply because of the fact that they were like, we're just going to organize a concert on the beach.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's like, oh, but do we have to pay? No. Technically, you would hear it because they'd be playing so loud that it would be heard across town anyway. But it was like, no.
Funnily enough, that's been coming up. So there's a new stadium in the GTA called Rogers Stadium, and it's meant for like the uber musicians. So like say for instance Bruno Mars, Oasis, when they did their reunion tour, like those are the people playing at that venue. And apparently like the noise, like apparently you can hear the concert 5 kilometers away.
Okay.
And people are pissed.
Yeah, of course.
And they have every right to be pissed
because it goes late.
Because that's the thing. Like, and well, also, and it's not just the concert, all the sound tests, all the rehearsals. Like right now, apparently, like in that area, like you don't get many nights without something being noisy. Because it's like, sure, like maybe, like for sake of argument, Bruno Mars, I think Bruno Mars did 3 shows, but there was at least a week worth of rehearsals before those shows, because they had to make sure that they got the sound balancing right and blah, 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 blah. Because like every venue has its unique acoustical challenges.
Oh, well, property value and all that.
Oh, God. I wouldn't be surprised if some people. And then the frustrating thing is that apparently that venue is temporary. They're building another bigger venue that's meant to be permanent. And this was meant to be the compromise in the meantime to take the pressure off the Scotiabank Arena because it wasn't big enough. Yeah. Bye, Grim. Everyone say goodbye to Grim.
Bye.
Licky, now! Then again, I should have known. I should have known. One, Licky Glock is the worst. And two, I did say the magic words, don't do the thing, which means do the thing. I have learned my lesson. In which case, I mean, I will forget it probably in about 5 minutes. Licky. Licky. Oh, my nose is itchy. Chat, my nose is itchy. Did you know noses can itch? So returning back to the stupid topic of my brain. Of course, Ish is always a little slow on the uptake. That's okay. We love him. But also, at any given moment, Ish is usually like half asleep because he never gets enough sleep. So you got to accept that near your brain, because that's actually something that I remember. Apparently, like the longer you go without sleep or not getting proper sleep, you can consider yourself like temporarily, like, I won't say handicapped, but like the thing I heard is like, for as much as, IQ is a measure of intelligence, because let's be clear, IQ is kind of bullshit. And that's a different rant entirely. I can go on that rant, but not right now. Anyways, but it's kind of considered like for every hour of sleep that you are like in debt of, like that you haven't caught up on, you might have lost like, 1 point of intelligence for sake of using a metric, but not the band metric, different metric. Anyways, but sorry, 1 second, I'm gonna have to adjust my headphones. Like the idea of like, and also like they've talked about like reaction times, like apparently like, especially if you're like a speedrunner or like any kind of like competitive video game player, like especially in the fighting game genre, you cannot go into those things tired, because your reaction time drops. Like it's one of those things, and I've seen it myself, like towards the end of stream, like when I was playing Bloodborne, I got worse. Because like, you'd see me struggling with a boss towards the end of stream, and then, at the beginning of the next stream, like, I'm not saying, I get it immediately, but like this, I stop making the same, I don't make those mistakes anymore. Like I'm, get better reaction time and things like that. And it's a thing. Our brains, for all of the, scientific understanding we have of the principles of sleep. Hey, sleep token, thanks for coming by. While I'm talking about sleep. We are very reliant on it as a neurological function. It's scary. Yeah, and it's, the shit's fascinating to me. Like how many people, like how many things are like everyone acknowledges sleep is this important thing, but it's like, how does it work? How does it do this stuff? I don't know. Because it's hard to study sleeping, right? Like you can kind of, have people sleeping with certain type of devices, have them under like, positron emission topography or different CAT scans or whatever. But that only gives you sort of ow. Oh, Feral Beast is here. She's done listening to me talk about science. Hi, Feral Beast. Do you want to come say hi to chat? You can come up if you want. Just don't be a gremlin. You may come up. Come on. Chat will say hello to you and adore you if you come up.
Oh, look at you. You're so cute. Yes, you are, kitty.
Oh.
Yes, you are.
Feral Beast? Nah. She has denied. I'm sorry. Oh, hello, Cowboys. Oh, a 25 stream streak. Nice. Feral Beast has shunned you all. She refuses to come by. You may all cry with the knowledge that your God will not acknowledge you. I'm sorry. She'll probably come by later. She got distracted because other Pharaoh beast went for the crunchy nibbles. It's true. This is another band that I would like to see live, but unfortunately, the last time they were here, I didn't know who they were yet. But even then, I remember seeing stories in like the rock media complaining that Sleep Token was apparently a very stressful ticket buying experience because the venues that they booked were not big enough for how the explosion of popularity that occurred. Because the tour was booked before the big while they were still kind of like, I don't want to say indie because they were I think they're label signed, but like they were just like, the quote unquote big hit hadn't happened yet. And then it did. And then all of a sudden you've got, these venues that sell out way too fast because, the interest is higher than the availability, supply and demand, right? I mean, if they were to come again, I would probably want to see them. But my understanding is also like the like Functionally Sleep Token is a 2-person band. It is the singer who does the majority of the instrumentation. He has a drummer. The drummer is the one other kind of like quote unquote artist. Oh, have a good night, Licky. Thank you for coming by. And then while they're touring, I think they have like a backing band, like backing vocals. So, like they're, apparently the lead singer doesn't like doing frequent media appearances. So the tours are infrequent. I mean, again, like they all perform under aliases. He doesn't want to be known, which is fine. You know what? I'm all down for the OC alias for media engagement. Do you. A lot of Ghost showing up tonight on my playlist. I'm not complaining about this. I like Ghost. I did get to see Ghost live. And again, thankfully it was pre-pandemic, so ticket prices hadn't gone stupid yet. Because they did come after the pandemic, and unfortunately, that point I felt I could have swung it, but I just didn't want to pay that much. It was like, and under the purposes of principle, I refuse. And also, like, I try to like limit myself to like a certain number of concerts per year, if that makes sense. Like, because like, say for instance, my sister, for example, right now is signed up to go to 6 concerts this year. That's a lot when you consider how much ticket prices are. I'm currently signed up for 2. I am if the right musician shows up, I'm not saying that it can't be more than 2, but like 2 is kind of my comfort zone. Like I remember there's been years I've done 3. I mean, also there's been years I've done 0 because money. But I find anything more than that gets crazy. And like even then, like the current ones I'm going to go see are Muse, which I mentioned earlier, because they got a new album, and then what's it called? Nobuo Uematsu, the composer of Final Fantasy, is coming, and that one is kind of like, I don't know if I'll ever get another opportunity for that. So it was like when that came up, it was like a bucket. I'll make it work. Now, one I kind of regret is, not kind of, actually, I really regret it, is Health and Carpenter Brut came and did a show. I really wish I hadn't turned that one down. I should, it's one of those things, like, especially because it's like people, again, if you've been here doing my hobby streams, they show up frequently in my playlist. So it's like, but I had such a bad case of initial sticker shock that I didn't go through with it, and I regret it. Because I mean, I don't know how often they come. I am a recent fan of Health, I will say, so I don't know if he's a frequent tourer or not. Tourist. That's not the right word to use the word. I don't know. Anyways, Health, if you are somehow seeing this, come back to Canada, please. This little banshee would appreciate. Thank you. I will say that out of all the I think I've complained about it before. I've had one bad concert experience, and it was technically part of a concert, if that makes sense. So like it was 3 bands. Paris, 30 Seconds to Mars, and Muse. As I mentioned, I'm a big fan of Muse. Paris was fine. Muse was great. Sorry, camera. Both of those bands are perfectly cromulent. Actually, Paris was the opener, so that's kind of like that's one of the things I do like going to see opening acts of concerts. I like finding new bands. I have found several new bands that way. By being like, hey, if I like this band, they probably you kind of curate your opening act, right? You aren't going to be like, I'm a heavy metal band and I'm going to get this banjo act as my opening act unless I really want to piss off my audience, right? So, 30 Seconds to Mars. If you don't know much about 30 Seconds to Mars, that band is Jared Leto is the lead singer of it, and I think he does writing for it. Oh, hello, Feral Beast. Are you back? I like a few. I do legitimately like a few 30 Seconds to Mars songs, or at least I used to. And what's I saying? However, when I saw them in concert, ugh. So, sin number 1: if I'm coming to see you in concert, I'm coming to see you in concert. I am not coming to hear your I am not coming to hear you wax philosophical on the nature of music. I'm not coming to watch you twirl around the stage, but not actually perform anything because you like how your cape swishes. I do not want to hear a long-winded speech about the power of community. I have paid for a ticket to watch a show. I would to be somewhat blunt, play the music. I would like to hear you perform the songs and in a not terrible manner. And it was, yeah. Jared Leto likes to hear himself talk. The end. Also, shock and surprise. I don't think anyone's shocked or surprised to hear that, right? Oh, whoops. Slip the stitch. But, so yeah. Then again, I've heard Jared Leto's kind of a piece of shit. So shock and surprise, he's a piece of shit when he goes to do a concert too. Because I will say, say for instance, Enter Shikari also kind of had like a couple times where they take break from the song to talk about it, but it made sense. Like one, it related to the songs they were performing, right? Like, shock and surprise, Enter Shikari includes some political stuff in their music. So when a song is about dissatisfaction with wars, or satisfaction with wars is an understatement, but you know what I mean, like. It makes sense to maybe take a minute and be like, hey, we recognize these shitty things are happening and we have a message. Eat the thing. What am I eating? What am I eating? Also, hi. Hello. How are you doing today, Space Wolves? I hope it is good. Oh, you came in the wrong time. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. I still want to know what thing I'm supposed to be eating. Like, I'm not necessarily opposed to eating. I like food. I just want to know what I do want to know what I'm consuming. That's all. The thing you have in your hands. Oh, well, this is a needle and this is thread. I could. I don't think I should. I think that's called the Dungeon Lounge stream has ended and Elizabeth is going to the ER because she has swallowed a needle. No. I do have a can for a drink, which I can drink this. If you want me to drink the thing, I will drink. But again, I will not eat the can. I have no desire to go to the ER tonight. Not the can. I don't think I have food here. Grim has food. He got chips. I can tell him that you want him to eat the chips. Oh, okay. Okay. So I thought the thread had caught. I thought the thread had done a naughty. Okay. The big thing in your hand. The hoop? You want me to eat the hoop? Or the project? I don't think I should. I think that will also get me to the ER, because I mean, technically cloth is an organic material, but I still don't think I'm supposed to eat it. I don't think it is good calorie-wise. I don't think it has nutritional value. If someone wants to fact check me on that, fair. I could be wrong, but I don't think you'll be fine. Trust. Well, if a person on the internet says it, if a person on the internet said it was a good idea, like, I mean, technically, it depends on how the cloth has been treated, right? Because, like, a lot of cloths, say, for instance, to get them white, they get treated with bleach. So it might not be the cloth that's the problem. It's the bleach. The bleach is the problem, right? Right? Oh, shit. It's been an hour and I haven't taken a stretch break. One momento, por favor. I must ensure I do not hurt my back more than I already have by doing a craft project. So we are stretching. Okay. I'm going to stretch it this way. And then do that. That. Also, can you throw the can at someone for the funny? I mean, I'd like to drink the liquid in it first, if that's okay. Because I get it. It makes a funny, like this is an inherently funny sound. But I want to drink the liquid in it first. But then the liquid gets everywhere. And then, like, because it's like Pepsi, it's like it dries and it's sticky. And then I have to clean that. That's work. Oh, that's work. I feel like today you are a chaos gremlin. Have you secretly been replaced by an orc, Space Wolves fan? I mean, I'm fine with you if you have, but hello, Ponyo. Welcome back. How are you doing today? Happy Tuesday. I am back. I'm doing more cross-stitching. Technically, I don't normally do cross-stitching on Sundays. That was because people canceled and needed to sleep. So it was just me by myself. But I'm making more progress. I think I'm doing pretty good today so far. Like I've got, I did some stuff over here and I got all this part outlined. Nah, played with 1,000 Suns. Nice. So you're saying then your suggestion that I throw the can could be a complex strategy, because that is the thing of the 1,000 Suns, because they're like Zeech aligned, right? See, this is what I mean about Carpenter. See, I just literally said Carpenter Brut. I regret not seeing him in concert because he's in my playlist. Look at it. It's right there. Yep. Cool. I will say, like, if I were to fall to chaos in the theoretical world where I fell to chaos, I think it'd be Zeech that I would align myself with. I mean, there's a part of me that, corn is fun. Corn is easy. But I feel like I would be happiest with Zeech. Sneeze. I don't even know if I'm saying his name right. Is it Zneech? Sneeze? Slanesh, no. Slanesh is a hard no. That would just make me uncomfortable. Everybody's naked, it just feels inappropriate. And Nurgle, nope. That's everybody's sick. I don't like being sick. I do not like the sniffles. No, thank you. So throw the can for the funny. I'll think about it. Especially what do you got against Grim? Like I will say though, if you're like throw the can at Feral Beast, I'd be like, no, I'm not throwing it at my cat. But I mean, I understand, like, of the targets available, he is the most acceptable target, but I still don't think I want to do it. If only because I think it invites reprisal, right? Oh, just the first thing again. You know what? That's fair. That's fair. If anything, like, because it's, like mutually assured destruction, right? Like, if I throw a can at Grim, he's going to throw a can at me. And then I'm going to be like, oh, you threw a can at me. How dare you? And then I throw another can at him. And suddenly there's cans everywhere. Also, because he's stinky. How did you know? Actually, he's not stinky. He's not fine. He's fine. I feel bad if like he's like spontaneously appears in chat. It's like, what? I'm stinky. Okay, maybe someone can explain to me. I understand the word stinky is kind of technically a compliment. Like, the stinky person is technically like a nice compliment. I don't understand why though. Can someone explain how stinky is positive? Maybe I'm just really like old. Wait, I'm not old. 27 forever. Hee hee. Huh? You smell it from here? Huh? I thought there was like, the slang of like that person stinky is like a compliment. I can't look it up right now because my phone is acting as my camera. My connection to internet facts is limited. Stinky is not that's my understanding. Stinky is not a compliment, but the thing is, I've heard it being used as a compliment. Right. I'm gonna like look up the internet dictionary because I know I'm not crazy. People use stinky slang. Not in Spanish. I don't need Spanish. Okay, here we go. Apparently, calling someone stinky is supposed to be a term of endearment. It is a slang term of endearment. So it'd be like calling, instead of, saying, hello, dear, how are you, as a term of endearment, hello, stinky, how are you? So I don't understand. I do not. Because, again, like, I associate stinky with smelly and not pleasant things. But apparently, for the youth, the stupid teenagers, like the ones I bitched about on the train, would use the term stinky. Screw the youth. I mean, okay, so sorry. So we were talking earlier about movies that I should probably see at some point. The word "the youth" made me think of My Cousin Vinny, and that is another movie that I've been told I should watch. And I know at some point Joe Pesci has like a very, like, he says, because he's doing like an outrageous Italian accent, says the youth in a funny way. The Ute, I think was how he said it, or something like that. I can't do an Italian accent. I'm not going to try. There shall be no mafia version of Banshee Elizabeth, because I cannot do that. The only accent I can do reliably is the Duchess. Even then, I can't do that. That one lasts as long as I can do without laughing. Tee hee. How are we doing? How are we doing? Section should I? I'll say that is another interesting thing. So things that I've talked about that were interesting, in terms of like brain and neuroscience, but also the shifts of language. Because like things that were, the slang present when I was born versus the slang present now changes. And I think that's it. It's interesting to see how how things change, and also for like quote unquote like ease of like in written language. Because like, say for instance, like when I was a small banshee before texting or ICQ or MSN Messenger or any of that stuff existed, like certain shorthands weren't used, right? So like lol, to use a very, very basic one. But now it's like, find me someone who doesn't know what lol is, right? Sorry, and also has access to a phone. Because I'm sure you go find some grandparents and they'll be like, what is lol? But you know what I mean? Like, and I know that sometimes people get upset because like, lol shouldn't be part of the dictionary, but it's like, if it's understood as a word, then it's a word. And apparently, like I remember reading someone like back when I was studying Shakespeare and stuff like that in school, like apparently, like part of the appeal of Shakespeare is like, to us, it's like, oh, it's the old time fancy English, but it's like, no, apparently Shakespeare was writing very like quote unquote low English. Like he was writing slang, or just outright making up words to make his rhyming patterns work. So, like at the time, like, for the sake of argument, it was considered like, like lowbrow sitcom stuff, not high art. And then, meanwhile, you get us now where it's like, welcome to school. Here's your copy of Romeo and Juliet. Get ready to memorize the freaking wherefore art thou Romeo crap, right? I will say of the plays I had to read from Shakespeare, my favorite was either Macbeth or The Tempest. I preferred those two. Romeo and Juliet is watching two people be very stupid for a length of time. Like, everybody in that play is stupid, and I hate it. I hate Romeo and Juliet because it's like everybody dies, and they all die for stupid reasons because people cannot communicate with each other for more than 5 fucking minutes. And also, Juliet is too young. She is 14. She is canonically 14 in that play. That is too young to be getting married. I don't care about, like, oh, it's common for the time. No. Too fucking young. The end. That's one of my, like, most frustrating types of, like, plots to read, like, either in, like, movies or whatever. It's like the plot of bad communication. If these characters could talk to each other for 5 minutes, it will be, yeah, I had to get married before you died back then. Well, true enough. That was actually fun. I remember, like, funny enough that you mentioned that, I remember reading, since my brain is in the topic, still thinking about scientific papers. I remember reading, like, because it was talking about, like, the evolution of walking in humans as a skill, right? So the idea being, like, if the whole idea, if humans are upright, and walking in 2 feet, like, and the purpose of that, and obviously the big purpose of why did we learn to use 2 feet? To free up our hands. We can start engaging with tools when these are no longer needed for motion, right? Anyways, so there was that, obviously, but also the idea was, like, why does so much of, like, why does the system that is supposed that we evolved for walking, but why are we, quote unquote, bad at it? Like, why are we so prone to injury? Why are we so prone to, like, oh, I've slipped a disc and now I've had a curved spine problem? And the study was basically, like, looking into the fact that, like, the average lifespan of a human, especially at the point at which we figured out walking on 2 feet, was like, you were lucky to make it to 25, right? So, shock and surprise, the ability to walk was not evolved for long-term use. It was evolved for short, tiny lives. I hate to break it to you, anyone in chat who's over the age of 25, you have passed your evolutionary usefulness. But it's fine. I still think you're great. Anyways, so that's why, like, so much of your walking system, of your back, of your spine, is prone to problems, because it's, we're not meant to get to the age of 80 with it, right? So it was interesting, but also, like, so in theory, more evolution will improve for that, but also at the same time, no, it won't, because let's be clear, evolution works through the idea of people who have undesirable traits don't pass those undesirable traits, quote unquote, like, undesirable with heavy quotations around it, right? Like, what is an undesirable trait? Fuck if I know. But, the whole idea is, like, all the humans that had 4 fingers didn't successfully find a person to, have kids with, therefore 5 fingers becomes the norm, right? That's kind of the idea of, like, evolution is certain traits becoming favored over time and then becoming codified. And why am I doing so much science today? I'm so sorry. No, you know what I mean. Anyway, so the whole idea is that with that idea in mind, we are now at a place, like, say, for instance, here's a good example. I have asthma. It got better as I got older, thank God. So now you can just listen to me talk and talk and talk without losing my breath, because, anyways. But I had asthma as a kid. I required prescriptions to help me get through that. If I didn't have access to those prescriptions as a child, it may have impacted my ability to continue living, right? Like, the right coughing fit, if I go too long without breathing, bye-bye. So by that token, asthma as a trait would eventually, quote unquote, disappear, because anyone who has it can't live long enough to have the babies. But we have medicine now. We have science, which means that I'm alive. I think that's great. So, as a result, evolution's gone weird for humans, anyways. Well, also even like for animals, because like how many animals have we domesticated and have changed as a result because they have tied their existence to humans? Like, I love my feral beast, but she has evolutionary traits that make her suited to companion life with a people, as opposed, yeah, your dog needs you, right? Like, there's a whole like, oh, if suddenly there was a apocalyptic, like what was that one video game on the PS3 with the Pomeranian that you had to survive and navigate the post-apocalypse because all the humans were gone. So it was just like all the animals running around Tokyo. Anyways, I can't remember the name of the game. Someone will tell me. But yeah, like the idea was that there are some animal species that at this point, if humans disappeared tomorrow, no longer know how to function without being part of that ecosystem. And we did that. Naughty us. Or you know what, honestly, like at the same time, like you could argue that those animals are, I like to think that the cats and dogs are for the most part, enjoyed not having to, like I'm pretty sure let's be clear, feral beast is many things. She ain't smart. I don't think she could figure out hunting. So, she gets a nice cushy life of regular meals and foods and kibbles and treats, and she just has to tolerate me cuddling her excessively. So I'm not complaining. And hopefully my cat's not complaining either. Yeah, there we go. How are we doing for time? We've got a half hour left. Okay. I got time to start something. But that was some pretty good progress. Like I got like all this border work done. That's good. That's good. Okay, so I think I'll do a swoop. A swoop. I'll put this away for now. Or I could do, there's like a piece that kind of goes this way and creates a border. Okay, I could do that piece. Pockets full of stone. Oh wait, no, this is not the same color. So well, we won't do that because it's not the right color. Okay, so we'll do this one instead. It's 2 threads. Yes, it is. Okay. Yeah, I think I mentioned before, like this is a 2-thread pattern. So I have to split the 6th thread into 2 threads. 2 threads. Or else it becomes like too thick. Like as if you try to put 6 threads through, it becomes all puffy and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. There are cases where you do more, but this is not one of them. No. No. kind of funny, like, just thinking about it, and it's like, what did I talk about today? And it's like, wow, I meandered all over the goddamn place. I'm not complaining, mind you, but if you asked me at the beginning of the stream what topics I was going to talk about, I would not have picked these topics. I would not have picked these out of the hat. I figured I'd just be bitching about the Steam machine the whole time. All right. PC prices are too damn high. Which, yeah. And I mean, I bitched about it a bit on Blue Sky and a little bit on the Discord, but it was like, I don't know. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I don't know who the Steam machine is for. If I want to play a game on my big TV, I will put it on my PS5 or I'll put it on my Switch. And that generally meets my needs. And then otherwise I've got games on my PC. Like obviously, yeah, like on Fridays I stream Mechanicus, right? And I'm generally fine with that. Like honestly, I don't want to play Mechanicus on my big TV. Not because like it's better. It's a worse experience. It's just mostly like I prefer like for a game like that, I want my mouse and keyboard. And I know I could quote unquote plug my mouse and keyboard in to the Steam machine to play on my TV, but no, thank you. I grew up in an age where when I play on the couch, I use a controller, and I like it that way. God damn it! I refuse to learn any other way. No, thank you. And also, I'll say, like, how I play games on PC versus on my TV, it's different. Like usually, because I mean, like in the case of my TV, like I've got a reclining chair. I can, sit back, kick my feet up a bit. I get nice and comfy. Usually I'll have maybe like snacks and a drink. I mean, not that I don't snack and drink. Like I don't have a snack right now because I don't want Cheeto dust on my cross stitching, but you know what I mean? Like I have been guilty of the snacking while streaming my video games. But like it is different because like say for instance, like I was playing Silent Hill F on stream, and I got a little burned out in the game and I took a break on it, but I've resumed playing it off stream to get the last ending. And how I play is different when I'm on my, like when I'm, reclined in the chair, like it's different than how I play here. I find it a little bit more of a relaxing experience, even though it is still a horror game, but you know what I mean. Oh, here's the other half. It's health. Here to prove my point. Self-fulfilling prophecy and all that shit. Is there no way out? Is there no way out? Is there no way out now? And it's hard to know. Is there no way out? Life's short. Why does it take so long? We're only here once. Life in your sight. So again, moral, hey, health, when you're coming back to Canada. I will say I really enjoyed Hell's collaboration with Gunship for Blood for the Blood God. That's I think one of my favorite tracks by them. But unfortunately, I don't think that would be played at a concert because, well, in this case, Gunship wasn't appearing with Health. It was with Carpenter Brut, so. Oh, no. Wait 1 second. There's like a knot in here. Why are you in here? That's rude. You're not supposed to be here. God damn it. Oh no, it's really wedged in there. Shit. How did this happen? Ah, there we go. Perfect. No more not. I was talking about a bit about this with Sascha and Grim yesterday, but for those who are newer to the channel, what I before I started doing hobby streams, I used to do something called tea time streams, which would be like usually me, either another member of the lounge or like a random guest I can wrangle into whatever, and we just kind of like, for all intents and purposes, shoot the shit. The whole idea is like you're having like a tea time or whatever, but it's more just kind of like talking and having seeing where the topics take you. And it's one of those things I kind of commented at the time, like I'm thinking about restarting those because I really enjoy them, and like sometimes it's nice just to be able to kind of like like this I like the vibe of this stream, but sometimes the thing that kind of like is a challenge is it's me by myself. And while I do my best, I have mixed success when it comes to my ability to maintain a topic. Like sometimes I do good and I can go talky, ramble, wamble, and we go all day. And then sometimes it's like, hello, chat. And I have nothing to say. Because, obviously like ebb and flow and all that stuff. But just having, and also it's fun to hang out with people, be able to like chat and get different perspectives other than just mine. Like, unfortunately, like with this type of thing, yeah, like there's a bit of an this interaction to kind of ease it, but also like there's additional perspectives, because like on this one, like as much as I had to say it, like it is biased on my perspective because I'm the one talking, talk, yap. Like chat, obviously you can interact, but and also like to be clear, like if I don't like what you're saying, I can delete your message. I wouldn't do that, well, unless you do something to break the rules, but like you know what I mean, like. I have, a higher degree of control on chat than I do another person talking with me, I guess is the way to put it. I don't know if that makes sense without sounding weird. But yeah, like it's something I'd like to see about maybe getting going again if I can. But as anything, it, schedules. People have lives. We have jobs. We have shit to do. And also time zones. Dear God, time zones. Like, I have, I met Grim. He's obviously, before he came here, he was living in the Netherlands, which was, I think, at least a 5 or 6 hour. I'm much harder to shut up in person. It's fine. I will allow that. The mod was being a little too hard on you there. Auto mod, not an actual mod. But like, what was I saying? Man, my brain just forgets topics so easily. Yeah, sorry, figuring out schedules it's hard. Like, people got lives. And time zones are a thing. Like, I've got friends who are, in the UK or in Poland or what have you. And it's just like, it is a genuine limitation being like, oh, let's play a game together. Sure. When can you do it? Well, I work Monday to Friday, so it has to be in the evening, but evening means it's like 3 a.m. for everybody in Europe, right? So it's like, well, what do? Political song, kind of. Soft political. Yes. Yes, I will say yes, 100%. Like, I did not give a shit about time zones until I started streaming. Now it's all I think about. Like, because like every time it's like, trying to arrange collab, like even with people who are in North America, like, Canada and the US cover like what, 5 time zones? So, like, say for instance, Ray, who is a friend and frequently collaborator with the channel, he's all the way on the other side of Canada. So, like, there's at least a 3 to 4 hour difference between us. So, like, sometimes, yeah, like that is when you try and arrange something, it's like, okay, well, you know, if he's like, you know, I want to do 8 o'clock my time, that's 11 o'clock here. So it's like, not that I can't stream at that time, but I do have to be cognizant if it's like, for instance, I've got work the next day and I have to be up at like 5 in the morning or some shit, right? It just makes life hard and it's not fair. Oh, did I miss a spot? I did. Okay, this is fine. This is fine. So I'm sorry, I'm just looking at the pattern and I will point it out in a second, but like, okay. It's not bad. It's I just missed doing a cross stitch, so I can fix it. It's just annoying, I think is the best way to put it. So here. So this square right here. Here, I'll bring it up closer. This square right here should have had this light gray in it. I didn't catch it. So it's fixable. It's not like it's worse. Let's put it this way. If in terms of mistakes, this is the preferred mistake because it's another thing to find out I put the wrong color in a square, right? That's worse. But it's still like when you find out, you're like, no, I have to go back and find, like, I thought I was done with that color. I put that away. Like, I don't want to think about that now. Now I got to find it. But as I said, in the scale of whoopsie doopsies, oh, wait, no. Oh, wait, no, that's supposed to be this color. Whoops. It was never wrong. It was always right. Ah. Well, that's why you check twice. So it turns out, no, I didn't make a mistake. I was right all along. Hooray! So we just do that. It is so easy to get lost in these patterns, I find, if you're not like being extra diligent. Because, like, again, it's a lot. Like, I will say, like, there's like kits you can buy which like stamp the pattern right onto the fabric, and I get that. I get the appeal of that. I mean, I'm not a big fan of it because it leaves marks on it. Like, you'll be able to see the color sometimes through, but for ease of like brain, I get it. I understand the appeal. Dance time. Well, except for people watching the VOD on YouTube. You don't get to dance. You don't get to hear the song, so I'm sorry. The song feels very Europop to me, despite the fact that it's more J-pop, but J-dance? I don't know. It's the doot doot doots. Those doot doots. Feel like I should be in a club, like, raise your hands up, as it were. Put your hands in the air like you do not care. Maybe also say do not care with some enthusiasm, like, put your hands in the air like you don't care, instead of like, put your hands in the air. You may or may not care. I need to take a drink. My voice is feeling scratchy. One moment, please. After I put the needle go through. Okay. Sippy. Okay, right here. Like, where was I? Chat, do you remember where I was? Can you point it out on the screen? Why would I put my hands in the air if I don't care? I don't know. I think the idea of not caring is to be celebratory, but and a non, I don't know. Maybe I can get a DJ to explain it because I don't get it. I mean, I get the idea, the feeling of needing to dance. I won't argue that. Like this song, 100%. Like if I were alone and no one would perceive me, I would dance. But you're here, so I'm not going to do it. Sorry, chat. Advanced, yeah. Theoretical digging 101. Theoretical digging. I mean, I will say, if someone can figure out the formula of not caring, please let me know. I care way too much about everything. I'm emotionally invested in this cross stitch. I'm emotionally invested in the events of video games of fictional people. I'm emotionally invested in TV shows. Hell, when I was playing Pocopia, I saw the end of it and I cried, and Grim laughed at me because he was like, "Why are you crying? It's a Pokemon game." And I'm like, "Bah." So, if someone impart me the wisdom of not caring, because I all cared all over it. Oh God, I know what you mean. I call those the 3 a.m. brain gremlins. Because like also like I find like at night, like it's not the wow, you had, you know, the not shutting off because it's like, oh, I want to think about a D&D plot that I thought was particularly interesting or whatever. It's like the things I think about like when I'm up too late at night, it's like all the mean stuff where it's like, did you know you're actually a terrible person and everyone who knows you is just pretending to like you and just tolerate you? And it's like, oh. You know what? That's probably not a bad idea. The joke, so when I described this thing to my mom, you want to know what her solution was? She told me to think about baseball, and I don't know if I don't find thinking about baseball effective. Like her theory was think about something like monotonous and boring that you shut your brain off, but it's like, doesn't work. Brain not shutting off. Now the baseball team is just added to the chorus of people who don't like me. I guess this is what is it called? The intrusive thoughts time. One other thing I was thinking of, sorry, to move off that topic because we don't need to stay on that topic. I was talking about like theoretical stream ideas, you know, to complement the theoretical advanced theory of not caring. Is I wanted to look at other like, for lack of a better term, like visual novel style games. Because like say for instance, I really enjoyed like while it was a bit rough on my voice at times, I really enjoyed Esoteric Ebb. So I was like, obviously, like there isn't going to be like another Esoteric Ebb to like just fire up and play, but like something that like lets me do something in a similar vein. So like I was thinking like say for instance like Valhalla, the cyberpunk bar game, or Coffee Talk or something like that. Like one of those kind of like types of games where it's like, you know, there's still like the things to kind of like the meat and potatoes to like grasp onto, like the interesting plot lines, but also just, you know, I can make stupid voices along to go with it. I will say the one thing I'm a little sad about not being able to like, cause I was playing Earthbound for a little bit, but I switched off of it to do Mechanicus. And the one thing I was a little bit like, oh, it's too bad, is you guys do not get to witness the glory of the voice I have for Mr. Saturn. I invented it when I was a very small banshee, and it's awful and terrible, but also stupidly funny. I think it's funny. As much as I consider anything I do funny. What time is it? 10:53. Okay, so we've got a little bit of time. A little ittle bittle. Just a little ittle bittle. Okay, so we got we're here. So I can maybe do like there's like kind of like this part like extends kind of down. I can maybe do that part quickly. Okay. We can try. That thread has to go now. That should be enough. B is for vampire, B is for blood. I always wonder if this guy hates his brother. For reference, the lead singer of this band, if you haven't heard it already, the similarity, is the brother of Rob Zombie. And their voices do sound alike. And like his brother, like ostensibly, like let's be clear, they both got into music. One got more popular than the other. I mean, I hope not. I don't want to find out about that. But like on the other hand, it's like inquiring banshees want to know: do you in fact hate your brother? Yeah. Because again, like if you listen to both acts, like their voices, they have similar singing voices, like shock and surprise. They're brothers. This is another band I discovered through anime music videos. Katamari. Katamari is one of the best games in the world. Talking about games with a good vibe. Katamari 100%. This is another game I could just like zone out to, like especially in like in an endless mode. Just everything goes onto the ball. Absorb the world. Hey chat, you have to sing along with me because it's weird if I don't have people singing along with me, okay? Like we're not right now. I can't speak Japanese. But when we get to the chorus, that part's in English, so we can sing along to that part. This song, like you can't be depressed. Like I'll be honest, like try and be depressed while you're listening to this song. It's hard. It's hard. Oh yes. It's hard. Like, and it's kind of funny, like how music can affect mood, if that makes sense. Like, you know, again, like try and be upset while listening to the song. It's hard. But then like there's also like studies talking about like how like when someone is like sad or upset, how they may seek out certain music to keep to match that vibe and the mood, right? Okay, but we can't talk about that. We're about to come with the chorus. Rolling star. Okay, I can't sing this part. It's done in English. You're lonely rolling star. Also, you have to put your hands in the air and wave. Not that I can see, but I believe in you, chat. I know you're doing it. You wouldn't leave me hanging, would you? And then Van puts a specific message. No, I was leaving you hanging. And I cry. There's cat hair right here, and it's driving me crazy. Girl Beast, this is your fault. I will say the one frustrating thing is like periodically, like Namco like goes and delists like all the music for Katamari off of Spotify, and then it brings it back a few days later, and it's annoying. Well, you know what? That's not my problem. You just pick up the mouse and wave that way. Just lift up the whole apparatus and wave it all. Oops, sorry. Sorry. I hit the camera. I didn't mean to. You're lonely rolling star. Rolling star. The other song that I really like from Katamari Damacy, aside from the main thing, which is obviously like the goat, like we're not going to argue that one, but the song that just says "You are smart" over and over. It's like I appreciate the affirmation. I appreciate a song that's just an affirmation, saying, "Hey, you know what? You're smart." It's like, oh, thank you. Maybe I needed to hear that today. Oh, sorry. Okay, chat, it's here. You're lonely rolling star. Da 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 da. You're lonely rolling star. You're lonely rolling star. Da da. You're lonely rolling star. Sa. Do 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 do. Yeah, daily affirmation. Sometimes, and I mean, I have, because of the brain gremlins and various other factors, I do see a counselor, and like apparently, it matters, and the things you tell yourself matters. If you tell yourself that you're stupid, after a certain amount of times, you start to believe, whether or not it's accurate, you start to think, hey, I might be stupid. So it is important to say positive things and surround yourself with people who will say positive things. Like, not that they should be lying to you. If you do a stupid thing, they should be able to call you out and say, like, hey, don't walk into poles. But on the other hand, you need some positivity in your life. So I am trying to be mindful of that when I talk about myself. I don't always succeed. Oh no, Claire Obscure is here. I'm going to cry. Speaking of things that if you haven't played, you should play this game. I highly recommend it. Or you could just, if you don't want to play yourself, I have an entire VOD. There's a VOD of me going through my playthrough. You can listen to me cry in real time because this game broke me. Oh, this game broke me. And Kyle, you can probably put that game on right now, and I'll just start crying. The reasons I'm crying are spoilers, so I won't say anything further. But which one got commercialized? Claire Obscure? As far as I know, there's only the one. Just Expedition 33. I will say, yes, the fandom, the fandom of it, some of the parts of the fandom of Expedition 33 is a little weird, but I don't talk to people, so my fandom circle of Claire Obscure is me and Grim going woo. Sorry, I was talking about Claire Obscure came on. The song currently playing is from Claire Obscure, and I was saying, speaking of games that you should, when we're talking about media you should experience, I highly recommend Claire Obscure. As long as you can tolerate turn-based style JRPGs, because if you can't tolerate turn-based, then don't play it. Watch someone else's playthrough of it, and then do what I do, just cry the whole time. Yeah. Watch a little and then the play. That makes sense. I was remarking that my VODs of it are on the YouTube dumping ground, but it's basically just watching various ways to make Elizabeth cry in real time. Yes, I mean, I enjoy turn-based. I honestly prefer turn-based because I prefer not feeling rushed in my thinking. But I know for some people it is too slow. So that is, everybody's got their own thing, and that's okay. All right. I just realized it is 11 o'clock, but I just finished this segment, so this is a good place to call it. There we go. There we go. Cool. Boop. There we go. Yeah, I hear you on the QuickTime events. Like, I know, like, the big mechanic of Expedition 33 is the parrying system, which I got okay with. I'm not going to say I was perfect at it, but I managed. But yeah. But yeah, so I think that was a pretty good progress today. Basically kind of got like all up, got a lot of the border up here and down here, some filling in. So yeah, this is good. More cloud. All right. But it is that time, so I will be wrapping up now. We'll drop over here. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me for today's stream. I hope you enjoyed the various meandering of topics that occurred, but I enjoyed the company. Thank you guys for being here. In terms of what's coming up for the rest of the week in the lounge, tomorrow is Whimsical Wednesday with Grimothy at 2 p.m. Please stop by. Or don't, you know what? I'm not your mom, can't make you do shit. Then on Thursday, Grim is back again, continuing his playthrough of Final Fantasy XII, which is, well, he says it's the best Final Fantasy. I would debate him on that, but I think it is still a good Final Fantasy. Won't debate that. Anyways, and then I'll be back on Friday at 8 p.m., continuing my playthrough of Mechanicus 2, where I continue to yell at the Omnisyod for making stupid decisions that I can see coming from a mile away, and I am not a cyborg. Anyways, no stream on Saturday. I will say we currently have me and Grim playing Pacific Drive, or rather, okay, Grim plays, I watch, playing Pacific Drive on Sunday at 2. I will say this one is kind of a penciled in stream. Grim, we're going to be out of town on Saturday night for fun event time. So it really comes down to how many spoons we have left come Sunday morning, and if we are too tired to do a stream after having fun outdoor time. Anyway, so keep an eye on the Discord for that kind of thing, of whether or not we feel up to streaming or if we need to sleep. Anyhow, again, speaking of all of that, here is a link to our socials, including our Blue Sky, YouTube with shorts now, as well as the Discord, which, as I said, if there's any changes to the schedule, that's usually where we post it, first place we go. So yeah. And thank you guys so much for joining. Let's go find someone to raid. Oomst. Oomst. Ooh, Grayson's live again. Playing. Oh, is he playing Mechanicus? Is he playing Mechanicus? Yeah. Well, okay. Hopefully no spoilers, but I'm going to bother him. You better not be playing with a DDR pad. Then I'm going to feel really inept. Because he's playing Elden Ring. Oh, it's Darktide. Okay. There'll be no spoilers for me for Darktide. All right. Here we go. Get that rig going. Again, thank you guys. Have a good rest of your week. Take care of yourselves. And yeah, hope to see you at one of our other streams. All right. Good night. Good night. Good night.